Hello, we are live. Sorry, we've been a couple of minutes late, but we were deciding some last-minute translations about our new Brancalonia awards for the joy of our Alex Valente here present.
It's okay.
Alex,
We just translated the entire book in the last 10 minutes. It's great.
yeah, absolutely, says Alex, 80 years old in the heart because we make him suffer so much with our translations requests. Anyway, if you are new here, I'm Camilla. I'm here for Acheron Games, which is an RPG publisher based in Italy, but that loves to share the games worldwide. Here with me, we have Simone, or Don Simone, as he decided to present himself today, which is the main author of Brancalonia, and Alex Valente, which is the valiant translator of Brancalonia, and that has to endure the pain of translating our very not funny jokes from Italian to
No, that's
to
the
English.
problem. They
All-
are funny. The jokes are funny, which makes it harder.
And one play on words has already been lost because Camilla referred to Alex as Valente, which means valiant, and it's also his surname. And maybe our international friends didn't catch it, so I'm here to explain, because
Yes,
if you
it's
have to
really
explain-
funny when you have to explain a joke. Yes,
When
it
you
makes
explain
it
a joke,
funnier.
makes it funnier. Yeah, I explain jokes even when people get them, to make them funnier.
Just to make sure. You just need to
Yeah.
make sure how funny you are. Yeah.
To add the layers of depth.
Sure,
Anyway,
of course.
sorry.
Well, let me just take a minute to share our live on all our channels. So if you want to present yourself a little bit longer, Simone presented himself a little bit during our latest live about the perfect knave. But maybe you want to say a couple more words. Whereas Alex, if you are new for this new cycle of live chats, so if you want to present yourself and what you do, I think everyone will be glad to hear it. So I can have the time to share our live everywhere.
Simone, please. No, please.
Okay.
Please. Age
Vabbè.
before beauty.
Can you tell I'm older? Okay, so I'm Simone. This time I'm Dom Simone, so I have more responsibilities, more power, more. Everything is better, but deep down I'm the same guy as last time. I'm a main author of Brancalonia. I wrote in person the gazetteer. I supervised the third installment of Brancalonia, and I wrote the novel, which unfortunately hasn't been translated. So, because for now in Italy, fantasy is still a minor genre. It's like a little. So it's difficult to get it translated. It's like trying to sell sushi to Japanese people. They do it by themselves, and they do it good. But we love to share Brancalonia with the world.
Yeah.
I mean, we are sharing Brancalonia.
We are sharing. Yeah. We will.
Yeah. But yes, my name is Alex. I am one of the main translators for Brancalonia. I mostly translate the vibes and the spirit, and then there are people who work on the actual mechanics. I took over from the previous translator who worked on the first 2.5 books, who was Sarah Jane Webb, who was a good friend and colleague. And so like she set the tone, and I had to follow in her footsteps, and then it just keeps becoming this amorphous blob of cold pasta that we have to kick into across the ocean so it gains more salt, and then it loses all of the jokes that were there in the original. yeah, that's my job. That's what I do. And I translate a number of things. I've also translated for Acheron. I translated Inferno. I translated Apocalypse. I'm the main and only translator on Hell of a Town.
Yeah.
Because the mechanics are proprietary, so there is no need to have someone who works in localization for that. And I've read and enjoyed Simone's novel about Brancalonia. There's actually a lot of things about the novel. You can also, a couple of things from the novel you can find in a number of adventures and characters that show up in the Gazetteer and in Furious Lands. They're just like scattered and hiding around. A couple of important NPCs are in there.
Absolutely. Okay, I am done, so we can start. No, I am. What's happening? The technology is not helping me today.
Yeah, we can keep talking.
Okay, let's start. Let's start with a little overview. What are we talking about today? The Grand Theft Market. Here it is.
That was very good timing. Well done.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, now technology has come to my rescue, and now I can chat with you with no problem at all. Today we are here to talk about the Grand Theft Market, as Simone said, which is, I think, a very funny and tongue-in-cheek translation of the Mercatone dell'Adescamento, which is the Italian name. But I think it'd be funny to talk a little bit about the name, because it actually has two names now, like every good place in Italy, which has at least 3 different names and is known.
It has more than 2. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use every single name when we actually go and translate the actual description of it, just to say, oh, some people call it like this, some people know it as this one, and one guy calls it Bob for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. Like Brancalonia itself as a kingdom, it has many names, and everyone and nobody can agree on which is the true, real, final name of it.
Everyone know which one is wrong, but no one knows
exactly.
which one is correct.
Exactly. And this name, Grand Theft Market, obviously it's a little bit of a nod to Grand Theft Auto as a name, but the first name with which the market was known was the Stiliciting Mercatone. Am I right?
Stiliciting.
Sorry.
Stiliciting. It's a combination of stealing and soliciting, which is adescamento and rubare, which is so ladro and adescamento. It worked as a pun. It was fine as a throwaway joke.
It's a quite literal translation, and
it was a literal translation.
Both literal and effective.
Yeah, exactly. So the Stiliciting Mercatone. So now, if you had any doubt about what kind of market this is, now you're sure it's a place where people from Brancalonia, so knaves, go to either sell or buy objects that may or may not have been already stolen before, a couple dozen of times, and you will probably try to steal other objects here as well. It's very difficult to actually spend your money in the Mercatone, because usually either money is stolen from you, or you manage to find something and put it in your satchel and then run away very fast.
Well, it's right, all Simone? It's very it's homegrown, they're homemade, and as we all know, the house always wins.
Yeah,
I think that just applies to the market as well.
Yes. Absolutely. So Simone, do you maybe want to start by saying what kind of objects maybe one can expect from this market?
All kinds, of course, but both magic and non-magic. Because
this is an important distinction.
We have the first. We are still working on an idea or a format to present all the objects. If we want to simply put them in categories that standard categories, or maybe tiers of importance, legendary, the equivalent of legendary, mythic, common, uncommon, and stuff like that. In this case, we will go we will present them as they are on the shelves of a shop. So we have the bottom shelf with the petty stuff. We have the mid shelf with the good stuff, and then we go to the best stuff, and then the stuff that the shopkeeper shows only to recurring customers and
family
and then the
members.
stuff he shows only to his parents, and then the stuff he shows only to his lover, and you go toward the center of the
So
in
basically,
Italy. In
shoddy.
Italy, it works like
Please
it's
finish.
it's the way you shop in Italy, at least in Italy, when you go and buy fish, and also in the last years also vegetables, because they are becoming expensive and more and more expensive. So when you go and buy fish, if you go there for the first time, they will give you like the rotten fish that nobody wants. And then if you go there like 5 or 6 or 5 or 4 or 5 times, the
they will start
shopkeeper
will
give you something edible, and then it's you climb to the very good stuff that he keeps for his best customers. I don't know, maybe this will be the final, but still this is very funny. But I think that when the player is going to look for, or the master is going to look for an object during the game, then we will prefer a very clear and simple organization of the stuff, and the laugh will go away, and when you play, you want only something that works very quickly and doesn't take your attention away from the game.
I mean, that's why we have indexes. That's why we have indexes. I think that we'll manage to present them in a funny way and then have an index.
But an item compendium is something that you go and check very quickly during the. I don't know. We will see. Anyway, one of the first categories we talked about in the Italian live, in Italian, is the cooking weapons, we can call them. We don't have the name.
Yeah, we have a name. We are still workshopping on it.
We're still workshopping it, and it's not a name that works at best if said aloud. But they are cooking tools, cooking utensils that have been upgraded for battle. So
yeah,
and so there are like
the pizza peel,
cutting boards, pans, frying pans, and stuff like that, but upgraded for battle. The pizza peel, it's called.
Yeah, it's called Peel, and we actually have the art for this, and we will show it in the next couple of days because it's very fun. It's very cool to.
If somehow the art shows it being used to also like skin people, then the peel element really comes through. I don't know if you can change the art at this point, but
I mean, there are some, there's a knife.
It's a very versatile weapon, I think. It can be used.
Well, yeah, you can use it to slap, or you can use it to cut. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. It's
it can be iron or it can be feather for Italians out there.
It can also be a grinder.
Grinder, yeah.
The stuff you use to put flakes of Parmesan cheese on pasta.
A grater.
A grater. Yes. I hear there's also a small grater nailed to it, so you can also grate people if you want. So there's like a whole kitchen drawer
just with the peel
on the I'm sure you can also peel with it.
Okay, so I'm thinking about the jokes now, because there can be a whole section of the book which is just grating weapons, because grating, yes, is the physical action, but grating is also something that is really annoying. So it's grating weapons.
This might be interesting. This might be very interesting. A whole new category of objects born starting from the English instead of the Italian.
if we allow, this is like when a guitar player puts the guitar near the amplifier and stuff happens. If we allow the English department to come back with their jokes, this is going to explode. I'm telling you, we will not come out of this alive.
But I will find a
you
way
didn't
to
see
make
my.
this is
feedback. Feedback gets very loud very quickly.
You didn't see my terrible joke in the Kickstarter presentation. Just as a reminder, like, because we are talking about these books because the pre-Kickstarter campaign is already running.
Absolutely. This is the second of 3 new books that we are about to release on Kickstarter. I will share the link to the campaign in the comments, so you will find it easily. And we've already done a live. You heard us mention it before, a previous live about the Perfect Knave, which is basically a player's handbook with everything you'd ever need to build your knave. This is the Grand Theft Market, which is an object compendium, and then there will be all the Saints, Saints of the Kingdom, which will be a game campaign, and we'll talk about that in the next week.
And also a focus on religion.
Yeah, there's a focus on the
2/3 campaign,
kingdom religion. Yeah,
and 1/3 it's focus on religion because the religious stuff is where real chaos happens in Brancalonia. It everything looks very very tidy when compared to religion in Brancalonia. So
yeah,
there was much needed intervention.
Yeah, we needed to tidy up a little bit because except the fact that there was the Eternal Father, not Eternal Father. That's basically the only thing everyone agreed on. So we had to put a little bit of order in it.
You could say we are making it canonical.
Don't. Yeah, exactly. We are making it canonical.
Allora, in Italian, conclave, the stuff that's happened, means with clubs. You can only imagine the amount of memes that we had to witness in the last weeks with clubs. Photos of cardinals with bashing each other with clubs were everywhere. No, only in Brancalonia, not everywhere.
But I don't know. It's behind closed doors. You don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
we don't know.
Maybe in the past. Okay. Anyway.
No, in the past, no. In the past, I think
in the past they used to have brawls, actual brawls to decide who was going to be Pope. So
absolutely.
Anyway,
what I wanted to say was
cooking
we
weapons.
talked about the cooking firearms.
Okay.
But then we also have other kind of arms and objects in this stilistic mercatone, in this Grand Theft Market, which are the rustic weapons, which I think many who have already played Brancalonia will know, because there are a couple of rustic weapons in the first book, in the setting book, but here they will properly shine. Am I right?
There are some rustic weapons in the first 2 manuals, I think. We have put them together and added a lot of more.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they were only mentioned in the description of other weapons, like the Vanga Grimaldella, the picklock shovel. I don't know how to say it. The picking.
We killed Alex. Alex is gone.
Shovel. That you can also use to pick locks with a very subtle technique that consists in banging it very hard on the lock.
Wow.
Hey,
so elegant,
if it ain't broke,
so
don't
precious.
fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was mentioned in the description of another weapon that was the Lanterna d'Arme, the battle lantern. So what is this Vanga Grimaldella? And
And
we
you
added
created
it
it.
to the count. So rustic weapons are weapons that come from the agrestic environment, from the rural environment, from farming environment. Shovels.
I don't know if we already
hops.
have an official translation for Vanga Grimaldella, but I think I really like a diglock.
Diglock is very good.
Diglock is beautiful.
It's very good. There maybe there is an official translation, but in meaning that
We'll have to check. We'll have to check that.
the Vanga Grimaldella is mentioned in the previous manuals, so someone has translated it already.
Yeah,
But you
I think
can keep
since
it.
it's the first
You can
two,
keep
it's
it, or you
Elizabeth
can
Jane Webb.
change it.
I think it was Sarah Jane Webb. Sorry, Sarah Jane Webb,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The first translator.
Anyway,
so,
do as you please. You will find it in the description of the Lanterna d'Arme, so you will see that. Anyway.
And then you said normal objects and magical objects. So I want to talk about potions, because I know that we have some ideas about potions that our crunch master Marco Bertini wasn't very sure about, but we'll convince him, because we always do. We always convince him how to start stuff.
Okay, our crunch master and also keeper of the decency, of the gaming decency, Marco Bertini objected to this new object. No, sorry. That potions are magic items, and so they don't go bad, they don't expire. But still, in the kingdom,
we disagree.
Potions expire, and maybe not while you own them, but you can buy them already expired.
Yes.
Or maybe yes, who knows?
Sure.
For sure, in the Grand Theft Market, you can buy expired potions with a big discount, both in cost and in effect. Because once you drink it, you drink them, you discover how much they've expired.
Yeah, exactly.
Like milk, but you can't smell it.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? You know, it could be just like, oh, it works, but then I have a little bit of a bellyache, or oh my God, why am I a chicken? Why? Help me, please.
Why is everyone so big
Exactly.
and in black and white?
Oh my goodness. This seems like could be a very real problem, and I think as it always happens with Brancalonia, which has all this shoddy equipment that never actually works like it's supposed to. I think that it would be really funny to use in your game, but I also know, because you revealed it up before you confirmed it to me, that there will be also not so shoddy objects in this book.
No, magic items have to be not so shoddy, because rules state that. So there will be a lot of magic items that draw on the new mechanics of Brancalonia. So bounties. Rests, the long rest of Brancalonia, stuff that helps you rest, stuff that helps you play with the bounties, fake bounties, and stuff like this.
Yeah, I particularly enjoy, I think, Alex, since you also are such a long-time player, I'd like to hear what you think about this. The fact that you talked about how some of these objects will actually work with the long rest of Brancalonia, which is pretty rough because it's a week-long rest. So basically, objects that you use once every long rest. And then you, for example, if there are magic boots, then after you use them, you will pass your long rest basically putting them together again, because the soul has gone missing and stuff like that.
Yes, the one thing whenever I pitch Brancalonia to people, and it's just like, oh, it uses the gritty, realistic long rest rules, and then the rest of the game is the complete opposite of gritty. It's like, oh, it's not. It's this granular simulationist way of playing where you have to spend a week resting, but everything else is just very silly. And having to spend.
Sums it up. You basically.
But everything else, the using long rest mechanics, it's basically giving you an opportunity to also choose some downtime activities, like some additional downtime activities if you want to look at the long rest as downtime. It doesn't have to be just revelry. It doesn't have to be just frolic, I believe is what we call it in English. Just having some additional not additional mechanics, like additional activities that have a mechanical component or a mechanical result. I think will be very appealing.
I think that the fact that you see the grittiness of the long rest as opposed to as something in opposition to the rest of the game is very telling, because from my point of view, a long rest is never gritty, but is always preferable. So
it's more in terms of people who understand the game system and people who are aware of the game system. It's the name of the style of rest, right?
No, it's gritty because you have to spend a lot of time to get the same benefits.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to sleep for 8 hours and everything feels good. That's not true. That doesn't happen.
But it's the opposition's the opposition disappears. I don't know if you think like if you change your perspective, say why. Okay, we can rest and we can get our life points back in a night or in a week. Let's rest a week.
If we only sleep one night, someone might ask us to work again. If we take a week off, then we don't have to work for a week.
Exactly.
That's a very Brancalonian answer. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yes, not Italian at all. It's very Brancalonian. It's fantasy. It's absolutely fantasy.
No.
Don't worry. Don't ask.
Hey, it's great. You can go back to work tomorrow morning. What? I guess
it's okay. Thanks.
I'm
fine. I'm good.
Monday.
Let's get back to the market, guys. What I also wanted to talk to you about when I asked for not so shoddy equipment was also that you mentioned there's going to be at least a couple of actual real cool weapons,
yes,
sort of, in this Grand Theft market. So that
great objects from the
exactly. So that the GMs, the condottieri of the game, can actually give a proper object at the end of a campaign.
Stuff that you work around, stuff that you build the campaign around, not stuff that you roll. You found the crown of king.
Sure.
But you look for the crown of king, blah, 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 and once you found it, we can.
The campaign is over.
We offer some really, really, really cool items, but most of the stuff it works always. If it's not shoddy, it at least it has always a
downside.
A downside, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe and people are probably familiar with this like mechanic of Brancalonian. Like, it's not necessarily a mechanic in itself, but it is a guarantee by now.
Yeah.
So yes, you have shoddy equipment, but also in the bestiary with all the recipes, or each recipe had like a negative consequence of like not preparing the food properly. So it's like this is something that people who have played Brancalonia will be familiar with.
It works to make the game more engaging, more challenging, and also to add always a comic opportunity for the condottiero. We
Yeah,
have like
absolutely.
a small box that you can turn into a covo,
then
a den
Yeah.
once in some time, an amount of time, but it's like it's not fixed to the ground in any way. So you have to worry that the boxes, which is huge, but it's very tall and it's like 3 stories, but very narrow. So you have to worry that it tops and it falls down. So you always have to worry about this.
do you
How
see
they
what I have to work with? Do you see?
Yeah, and you also have to keep a straight face while doing it.
Yes, of
Like,
course.
yeah. That's my job.
Yeah, that makes okay. So toppling. So like we're gonna look at the top side and then just like
Yeah.
break down the words and see if there's
Oh,
something that works.
I'm going to talk about an object now, Alex, that you will find in the Grand Theft Market that I think it's really funny. It's what broke me before in the Italian live. It's the flea. How do you call that?
The flea-ridden blanket. The
Yeah,
flea-ridden blanket.
flea-ridden
Yes.
blanket. Yeah, that broke me before because it's basically a magical object with special fleas that answer your commands,
No, it's
so
a
they can
normal
run.
blanket with the magic fleas.
Oh,
The
sorry.
blanket is
It's a
The
very
blanket
important
is
clarification.
the blanket
It's
just a
inconsequential.
blanket.
The blanket doesn't matter. Okay, it's the fleas. Okay.
The blanket
Um,
matters as the vessel for the fleas at that time, but it could be any blanket. It's the fleas that you're buying the fleas, you're not buying the blanket.
Exactly.
yeah. Of course. And they answer your commands: run, jump, obviously,
And
and
attack.
attack. So imagine being able to say, "I will attack my enemy with a fleece-ridden blanket," and it wraps around the enemy, and the fleas do stuff.
And
It's
and you can also use it as a little vessel. So you can put a
yeah,
potion on
sure.
the flea-ridden blanket and say run, and and then the blanket goes straight to your teammate
Exactly.
and brings him the potion. Or you can
This is
distract an enemy by the jump order, making the blanket jump around randomly.
Yeah, this is the kind
And
of fine stuff you can find at any establishment of the Grand Theft Market. Every stall has stuff like this. So you see why you need this to build your adventures and campaigns in Brancalonia. It basically has whatever your knaves could ever possibly need. It's
and
necessary.
more, and
And more.
and more.
And
And
especially everything they really didn't need, but they have one now.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Also, sorry, Simone, what?
vai, tanto non lo posso dire. Sorry.
Okay, Simone was
Something
going to
Simone
say
was about to
something.
spoil something else and he just changed his mind.
I'm glad about that. But one thing I can spoil is a work in progress because we spoiled it before in the Italian live. So while I show that, I also wanted to say that one of the things that most of the players seem to enjoy a lot is the connections. Here it is. This is a work in progress of an illustration of the Mercatone of the Grand Theft Market by Lorenzo Nuti, and I think it's beautiful. If you let me see, let me know if you see the cats. Just let me know if you see the cats. And
Never mind the
How
cast. What
many
about the
cats?
salami?
there's a salami. Yes, so
There's
there's
a cage with tentacles crawling out of it.
I don't know what you are talking about.
Yeah, please don't ask. Stop asking questions. Thank you.
It's not important, inconsequential. Don't. And obviously, we are joking. This is a work in progress. As we always like to tell, all these projects wouldn't be possible without you and your support on Kickstarter and then during conventions. And so we wanted to show you that this is a work in progress. These new books are a work in progress. Um, So it's not like when you pre-order a book, it's still something that you could have your say about, so that you can influence in some ways with your contribution as well, obviously with the campaign, because obviously the more we stretch goals we unlock, the more the books are heavy and longer to translate for Alex Valente. So
Yeah,
if
please
you
give me a
want,
job. Yeah,
yeah,
please.
exactly.
Please keep me employed.
And but what I wanted to talk about is one of the things that most international players like to talk about when we present Brancalonia abroad is that they love the connection with the places. And Simone, I know that you are going to put boxes for many different markets that are in some ways connected to real markets in Italy.
There's like spots on. In Italy, we have a lot of markets. We have a lot of traditional markets. Every city has like 3-4 of them. In Naples, where I live, there's like, I don't know, 10 markets that fight for the title of oldest market in town. So you have only the
Strange, we
embarrassing
Italians are fighting about something. It never
about
happens.
something between neighbors.
Yeah,
Whoa,
exactly.
never heard of. And so we have we have descriptions of some of the oldest and the more characteristic markets in the kingdom, what you can find at lower prices and what you can find at higher prices in every market. And if the Kickstarter, the campaign goes well, we can. I'm thinking of adding objects that are imported from abroad, from exotic places like Serindia, Serinzo,
Yep,
Serindia.
Serindia.
Serindia, from Great Great Britain,
Great
France,
Brigantia, yeah.
Great Brigantia, anyway, in Lusitania, all the places that are around the kingdom, and we choose to never show, because we like to keep the focus on what we know best, which is Italy.
And also,
And
why would knaves want to go anywhere outside of the kingdom? The kingdom is already beautiful, There's no point.
some say that they are very rich abroad. That
Yeah. But have you ever
people,
seen
there's a
abroad?
lot
You
of
don't know if it exists.
who
Yeah,
knows? Who
that's
knows?
true.
We will go abroad one sooner than
Simone,
later.
as every Italian, Simone has a bit of the sailor in him, like
Yes,
wanting to explore and see what's over there, basically.
I don't know if there is a money to be made without working. Maybe there is it's a we will go eventually. But and also I would, if there is time and resources, I'd like to add like rumors from abroad. So in Vortiga, which is Venice, there will
I
be
would love
rumors
that.
from the Far East, and in Tauringa, which is Turin, there will be rumors from the Northwest, and to add like a little lore from the other countries. There is this woman in France that is she says that she's sent from God to free France from the Great Brigantia.
But we are not sure about that.
But rumors, there are rumors. But if we make the greatest hits of lore from abroad, there's some between objects and maybe the I don't know, the scarf that this Joan d'Arc, Brancalona Joan d'Arc used to wipe her forehead before. I don't know.
I think it's worth saying to an international audience that this is the kind of behavior you will find in a lot of traditional Italian markets of Italian religious and superstition, and just the attachment to this is an item that someone famous once used you can buy it at a really cheap price. It's a great deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's
this
the
is not
best,
something just made up for Brancalonia. This is
Exactly.
based in Italian tradition.
and it's the
Yeah.
most original Joan d'Arc scarf that you will
Yes, of
find
course.
today. Cioè, it's
Yeah.
much more original than the other ones that you find around. That's the
Yeah,
point.
you have to understand that basically, if we were to believe that every relic in Italy were true, there'd be saints with like 30 toes and 16 fingers.
I like to think that all of the saints were actually giant Titan monstrosities that we just have multiple limbs that we just take bits out of. We think that they were human, but no one says they were human. There's too many parts for them to be human.
This might be more Apocalypse, John's Guide to the Armageddon than
Well, with the
Brancalonia,
third
but
book
it's
coming out
fun.
during this Kickstarter campaign, the Saints of the
Yeah.
Kingdom, then maybe you'll find out more about the
Oh, no.
religion in Brancalonia.
Bard, maybe. There will be a lot of relics and fingers of the saints, like
More than 10.
50 fingers of Sant'Antonio. Going to be
Yeah,
good.
exactly. But Alex, I think that you'll discover quite a lot more maybe when we will do the live chat about Saints of the Kingdom with Mauro Longo as well, that as we know is the Lord of Spoilers. So,
What?
you
No,
will have
he's
to
he's
help
never spoiled
me.
anything.
Oh, yeah. He's such a good guy. He always said hi and waved on his way back home. Yeah, sure. And he's Lord Spoiler himself, but we'll try not to spoil too much, just a little bit, just the right amount. Then to approach our closing time, I know there is another category still we haven't talked about that's going to be present at the Grand Theft Market, which is a very important one, which is
rides.
stables. Rides, exactly.
Mounts,
giusto.
Thank you, Alex.
All those years of World of Warcraft, and still I can't say mounts when it matters. Va bene. And there will be mounts, of course. Everything you can buy. There will be poisons. I don't know. It's the first time we say it. There will be poisons.
Yeah, but it's a very interesting thing to share. I think I will put it in our summary for the names that didn't have the time to catch this live.
One of our most active followers, which is called Shapiro, like 2 months ago said, but what about poisons in Brancalonia? And I was like working. I read that and I said, oh, no, poisons. We are doing an item compendium and we are not putting inside poisons. So we have also poisons, and which are and that's a great opportunity, because I think that in D&D, in Dungeons and Dragons, poisons are really expensive, but they work only in certain conditions. So I never use them, because you empty your pockets and then you roll the wrong number and you have wasted 500 gold coins with the roll. So we will have much more.
No one in Brancalonia would ever waste your money.
No.
Can you imagine if someone in Brancalonia tried taking your money?
No one in Brancalonia will ever see 500 gold coins all
exactly, all together
at the same time. So they're going to be much more cheaper poisons with very less lethal effects. So
you
it's
can
more
give someone just a very runny tummy, but just for one day.
Did you read them? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. E quindi, yes.
You can take the guy out of Italy. You can't take Italy out of the guy.
Obviously.
That's the first one. The first one, everyone I wrote. But so cheaper poisons for cheaper jobs.
Effects. Right. Rightly so. Yeah. And I think we basically touched all the main points about about what will be in this manual. We also, if you want to see what kind of environment you could expect, as we said, you can find 2 pages dedicated about the market on the Brancalonia Gazetteer. But obviously here you'll have a much in-depth look on what's actually on the shelves. So, but just if you want to start having a look. And then what we still haven't told here in the international live chat is that in our last poll, you decided you wanted to discover more about the Spirit Chaser. And we published a beautiful image of this subclass with a bit of a description. Now we have to choose together the next one that you want to know something more about it. So what we have left is the Furioso, which I don't know, Alex, maybe we'll keep it in
It's
Italian.
probably going to have to stay Furioso. It's been Furioso when we used it in Inferno. It's been Furioso when you find it in any translation. It doesn't make sense to translate it as. It is literally wrathful or full of rage, but Furioso is such an evocative Italian name that I don't think we'll change it.
Watch out, it's not a barbarian. It's full of rage, but it's not a barbarian.
Oh, no, yeah, exactly, yes. I just mean the word specifically is full of rage or wrath.
No,
it's nothing to do with that.
Because everyone will associate the concept of Furioso with the barbarian, but it's not a barbarian. We just discovered that it's a paladin.
Yeah.
Which is a paladin that experiences the troublesomeness of being legal in the world, in the kingdom of Brancalonia, and at a certain point, it
breaks.
They just snap. They just snap, and that's where the wrath comes from. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
More of a holy wrath, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
A holy wrath.
A whole after he snaps, he comes up with a lot of explanations. Maybe it was a lost love. Maybe it was the pain of his
didn't eat enough that day.
The death of his liege, stuff like that. But he had enough. That's the
right. And then
so we have the Furioso. What's the next one?
The Tempestario, which we translate.
Which I think we suggested Stormrider.
Stormrider or Stormbringer. Now I'm a little bit
Stormbringer is a very famous weapon in fantasy.
No, so it's not a Stormbringer.
Oh, it's not a Stormbringer?
It's Storm. No, I think it's Stormrider. Yeah. Or I will go and check in a second.
Stormrider, Storm Chaser. I think Rider sounds better because the Stormrider is a kind of druid, right?
Yeah,
yes, exactly. He doesn't ride storms. He sees them. He anticipates them. He provokes them sometimes, but he doesn't ride them on a stick. So it's Storm Watcher.
Yeah, I am trying to
Storm Wielder, Storm User, Storm.
I am going to find the poll, but the third one in Italian is Zampognaro. Oh, Stormrider. Yeah, we translated it with Stormrider.
Yeah,
so,
Stormrider. Okay.
So and the third
I think
one,
the writing isn't necessarily like a physical writing. The writing is more of a using the storm to do something, even if it's more of a it's not physically writing on the storm.
I will ask Jim Morrison if he's good with it, and then we can clear it.
You could ask the Roblox community. They also have a Stormrider apparently.
Okay. I will. We will see.
Okay.
But the
Zampognaro.
How are we going to translate that, Alex? Help us.
I think that's just a bagpiper. It's obviously it's a different kind of bagpipe. It's not the Scottish bagpipe that people know from international thing. It is a very specific Italian type of bagpipe, but it's a bagpipe nonetheless.
Allora,
Yeah.
the main difference
Oh,
is
no.
that the Scottish bagpipe is very evocative and dramatic, and I heard them in person, and they bring tears to your eyes thinking of these guys going to battle. The Italian ones are really annoying, really, really annoying. Around,
Poor
around,
bagpipers.
they
Poor
are like
bagpipers.
they are a shepherd. Of course, they are shepherd instrument, but around Christmas, these zampognari come to town and they play. They go into buildings and they ring at your door, and you open the door and they play a little tune for you, and you give them money. So in the south of Italy, they are everywhere. Maybe in the north, you don't
I
see
have
them
to
very
say,
much.
I've never seen them.
They
But
tend to come from the Lazio region south. So it's like
Exactly,
from
Lazio,
south of
Abruzzo.
Rome and then further south from there. But the funny thing is that Zampogna, which international people will probably call Zampogna because that's how it works. Zampogna actually comes from symphony. So it's very funny that a word that is based on symphony is actually a cacophony, because that's what people associate Zampogna with, is just the you paid him to go away. You don't think it's not?
But now we are joking. That if they're good and if you are in a good mood, they can be very moving too. They can be very enjoyable. But usually they come to your door while doing stuff, and then you pay them to go away.
Yeah.
If that sounded like a cat being played and pulled, that is exactly what it sounds like when someone plays it badly.
Yeah, exactly. So with this beautiful sound that came out of Simone's mouth, I think Simone will give you money, just go away. And no, obviously it was a joke, but I think this is as good a point as any to say our goodbyes. Remember, say a reminder to people that in the comments you can find the link to our Kickstarter campaign if you want to follow that, so you don't miss the launch and the early bird bonus, which are very good and very fun. One is a dice shaped like a tooth, so it's very Brancalonian, and also, if you are watching this at a later time because you didn't manage to catch it live, just know that if you have any question, you want to leave anything in the comments, we will read them and answer them all with great pleasure. Thank you so much, Alex and Simone, for chatting with me today and with our international names. And let's see you soon for another live chat about Saints in the Kingdom, which will be the campaign book for this new Brancalonia line. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.